I love that picture. You look like you're 16 in that picture. What is that from? I don't even know where we found that photo.
You found it online, and that that was my headshot at Phoenix College when I was coaching there. So,
oh my gosh,
that's a while back.
Yeah, long time ago. All right, guys, welcome to Overtime Podcast. So, yes, we need another podcast out there, but this one's different. I swear to you, this one is different. What we are doing is backed by popular demand. We have such a good rapport, working relationship, and I don't get to interact with this guy on a microphone or on a camera enough that we've been asked, when are you guys going to do some projects together? I've been asked that question. And so we decided to do something away from the game. We call it Overtime, the Overtime Podcast. We tried using the name elsewhere in the past, but it didn't quite get that feel of being a true overtime podcast until now. And actually, ironically, the guy that helped me come up with this name is right next to me here, Saguaro basketball coach Lucas Ramirez. Lucas, so are you excited? Like, what are you looking forward to on this besides getting teased and being able to tease me back?
I think you said it all right there. I think it's just a little more unfiltered version of you and I, which I think you and I do a pretty good job of not having a filter anyway to begin with. So let's have some fun.
And it goes without a question that I consider us friends. We are friends. And I can't say that about a lot of people. I just tend to not rub a lot of people the right way. And I know that you do the same. I've seen you interact, and I've seen you kind of, how you are away from the action. And you're kind of a different guy too.
No question about that for sure.
Okay, so with this podcast, what we are doing is this. Let's get down to business. On this podcast, we are going to present 3 topics every single week, maybe every other week, but basically every episode, there'll be 3 topics that we're going to touch on. They'll be off the wall topics. They can be random topics, and we get them in advance. And you as the viewers and the listeners are most certainly welcome to submit topics to us. And you can do that on our Instagram. And if we use your topic and they scan the QR code up top, if we use your topic on our show, we'll send you a gift. And I think it'll be a shirt. I got to see what we have in our stash, our swag stash. But we'll do something. So by all means, please submit topics to our Instagram and add us and get the word out so that we can keep this thing going. Okay, so the topics. Let's talk about the topics. The topics tonight are topic 1, the NIL effect, even at the high school level. Topic 2, I told you these were random. NHL, Coyotes move to Utah, ASU filling the void. And then topic 3, Territorial Cup, what now for ASU and U of A. And then after that, we are going to do something called, let me get it off here. Lightning round or speed round. That was lightning round. Speed round Q&A with Vince and Coach Lucas. So with that, let's start. And I'm going to pose this question to you because you being a high school coach right now, a successful high school coach, let's talk about the NIL effect at the high school level. So your opinion of NIL.
Yeah. I think everyone has their opinions on it. I don't even think there's even so-called experts on it yet. Like, everyone's still learning and adapting with what's going on. I think I had this conversation the other day. Like, the purpose of name, image, and likeness is for someone to benefit off of the brand that they've created, through their social media, through their accolades, whatever it might be. So almost kind of like endorsement deals, right? What it's turned into at the collegiate level is hey, how much money can I pay you, to come to our university? That's where it's gotten out of hand. That's where it's crazy. Now at our level, the high school level, like in Arizona, you are able to get NIL. It has to be, though, you can't, when you advertise, you can't use your school's logos, names, and you can't have a basketball or football or whatever in your promotion. So again, if there's a kid who's good enough to, get an NIL deal out of high school or during high school, if you're the Koa Pete's of the world, out of Perry High School recently, or, even a young man right now like Cam Williams at St. Mary's, those kids are talented enough. They have a following, they have a brand. I'm not sure what their NIL situation was in high school or currently. So that's great, I think, to benefit off of that. But where it gets messy, like we see at the college level, it's how much money can we pay player A, to attend our school, and they'll pick the highest bidder, right? Like that's where it gets messy. I haven't seen that at the high school level. You never know what goes on nowadays. But, again, I think there's benefits to the guys getting paid, for what they're doing. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot to be fixed at the collegiate level. There's the House settlement that just took place. You're going to see collectives and universities start working uniquely together, probably more in syncly, to try and streamline everything. But it'll be interesting to see what happens at the college level. And then, of course, like, what impacts the college level will impact the high school level, so on and so forth.
It just seems weird to me because it feels like, now if it benefits the kid, at the same time, I don't know if it breeds a sense of I don't know, non-loyalty just based on the dollar. And also, when I think of NIL, especially with young people, with kids, I think of who is the actor who had to sue his parents because they took like his royalties? It was like Gary Coleman or something when he was on Different Strokes. Like his parents took all his money, or Macaulay Culkin. I don't remember. It was one of the two, or it might have been both. And I think of like parents getting involved and maybe getting a little greedy. So I don't know. Seems kind of
it's there's definitely those dangers, of agents getting involved, parents getting involved, the education portion of it, the taxes that they have to pay on it, like all these different things that go into effect. And I think, if you can surround yourself with a good enough circle that can educate you on how it's legally supposed to work, and then what to expect after that. There's going to be people who come out of the woodworks, your uncle who you've never met, or, your third cousin all of a sudden is going to come out and start asking these young people for, handouts or money, whatever it might be. So without question, it's definitely a slippery slope for sure.
I love your backdrop. Do you play the piano?
This is just whatever creative background.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say on a teacher's salary. That's
no. I wanted to, do you remember the NFL draft a couple of years ago with Cliff Kingsbury? He's sitting
in his living room in Paradise Valley. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got the fireplace going. I'm trying to create that aura, as the kids would say.
Yeah, that's nice. All right, that's topic one. When we come back here on the Overtime Podcast, we're going to talk a little something about something we know nothing about. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Overtime Podcast with Saguaro basketball coach Lucas Ramirez and myself, Vince. We are here. We're hitting some topics every week, just some random topics. Make sure if you're interested and you'd like to be a part of our show, send us your topics, and they can be anything. Pop culture. This is a guy that knows polyester, 70s music, and Taylor Swift all in one. In Coach Ramirez. Submit those topics. Go to scan the QR code. That'll take you right to our Instagram page. Send them there, and just let us know, and you might end up with some swag out of it. All right. So, Coach, you ready for topic number 2?
Let's do it.
Okay. NHL Coyotes move to Utah. Is ASU filling the void? So there's kind of two-part question there. What you think of the Coyotes leaving the Arizona, and is ASU filling the void?
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm not going to say, or I'm not going to pretend like I am a hockey fan in the least. But I will say this. Playoff hockey is really fun to watch. and I've gotten caught up throughout the years in playoff runs with other teams. But I know how much Arizona has become a big hockey state. There's a big youth scene. I know there's been a lot of community interaction between the Coyotes and people here in the Valley. So, I saw the outrage. I actually become friendly with the president of the Coyotes before they left. He's no longer involved in the organization. So maybe. No, he's a great guy. And we had some conversations too. I mean, people were trying really hard to make it work. And obviously there's a lot more that goes into it, but, filling the void, I think Arizona is and people might be offended by this. We have very fair weather fans here. So when things are good, I mean, they are great. The Suns championship run recently, and playoff runs, when ASU is dominating and doing great, there's not a harder environment, So I think it's incredible, I guess, to segue to your point, is ASU filling the void? I think so. I think there was a ton of excitement last year in the Valley. What Coach Dillingham's done has been just absolutely incredible, and activating the Valley. And I'm biased. I'm a Sun Devil grad, so I always want to see the team do well at any sport, any level. But it is exciting, when ASU is doing well. I even think back to the last, 7, 8, 9 years. Coach Hurley had ASU number 1 in the country at one point right before Christmas break. And when ASU basketball is doing great, I mean, there's not a better environment, than Desert Financial Arena. So, we're fair weather in Arizona for sure, but I definitely think ASU is helping fill the void, and I think they've done a great job. I think there's really, really good alignment right now at the university with Graham Rossini, with coaches like Kenny Dillingham, Molly Miller, Bobby Hurley, Bloomquist with baseball, right? You can keep going down the line. So I think there is a ton of excitement and energy right now. And kind of going back to our last topic and kind of going into our next topic too, right? I think with NIL and getting people to understand how they can get involved, with their local universities and how they can help contribute to, just the success is pretty neat.
I've been to games, hockey games in both arenas. I've been to Mullet Arena, and I've been to what's the name of it now up there by State Farm Stadium, Desert Diamond, I think it's called.
Yeah, whatever it is now. It changes every year.
And I've seen college hockey. I even had the honor of being a public address announcer for one of ASU's hockey games, and it was electric. The mascot, the student section, it was incredible. And then I've seen pro hockey, not incredible. And so maybe it was the location, maybe the West Valley wasn't conducive to getting people from the East Valley, people, with thicker wallets that can go to the games. I don't know. Maybe that's why, maybe it didn't work out in Tempe. They were looking at North Phoenix. Maybe we didn't deserve an NHL team. And we had success here. We had Wayne Gretzky that was attached to the franchise. So I don't know. That's a weird one. But I really like college hockey. Because I love the environment. I love the students. I love the mascots going at it. And it's just a different vibe. It's like, it's like an ASU football game, and when you've got all of that in play, when you've got people there.
And I totally forgot to mention that in my little pub for ASU. What the hockey program's done has been incredible. I mean, they've beaten top-ranked teams. They've made deep runs. Their coach is well-respected. So it's super awesome, right? I totally forgot about the ASU hockey side of things too. Program on the rise for sure.
Yeah, good stuff. So, all right. So that's topic number 2. We are going to be right back with topic number 3. Don't go anywhere, guys, here on the Overtime Podcast. And remember, submit your topics to the QR code, scan it, and that's to our Instagram page, and you may end up with some swag from us for submitting some topics. And it can be anything random to give us an opportunity to debate and discuss. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right. Final topic. Oh, and you know what? What I want to ask you is before we hit this final topic, how's basketball going?
Oh man,
Aren't you
it's
coaching
good.
right now?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
off to a great start. We're 3-0. We have a really fun one on Thursday night at Chaparral. So it's always great playing a sister school in the district and a coach I really respect, and Dan Peterson. He's done a great job over there. So it'll be fun. I think we're fun to watch. The competition certainly gets tougher. I'll be the first to admit our non-conference schedule is soft, and that's no disrespect to the programs that it just is what it is. I'm going to tell the truth. Our region is one of the best regions in the state. Tough schedule, tournaments ahead, so we're super excited. But it's been a great start. But I'm not going to kid myself or try and fool anybody. We got a long road ahead of us, and we have a lot to get better.
Well, a young team, but a solid team, some
Yes.
solid contributors throughout. And what's exciting to watch is, we get there early because we're broadcasting the games, to see the younger, the lower levels performing how they're performing and playing together, and the coaches getting out there and getting after it. It is fun. And the student section is really cool. I love where you guys put the student section now and having a particular theme.
I'm going to take credit for making that move.
Was that you?
Yeah. Well, I told our administration, going into this year, I said, I have a great idea. I think we have an exciting product.
Do you give them an ultimatum?
No ultimatums yet. But no, I just told them, I said, guys, I really feel the energy from our student body. They're coming up to me throughout the beginning of the school year, excited for basketball season. And between Coach Laird, the baseball program, our football program, they've done a good job of getting their student athletes out there in the student section. Our student government's been great. So it's fantastic. Matt Mayo, our cheer coach, runs the zoo. He's in charge of the student section, so they do a great job with our student leaders. It's just been fun. It's been fun. A lot of fun.
You ever think about introducing the what's the thing they did at ASU a few years ago? The curtain of distraction.
We might have to do something. I had that thought last night in the second half when they were shooting some free throws down there late in the game, and I saw them jumping up and down. And it actually dawned on me. I'm like, maybe we should do something about. I don't know if we have enough room down there. It's a mess, but it's fun.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Topic 3. Territorial Cup. What now for ASU and U of A? So as you know, last week, I think ASU was favored to win the game. U of A comes in and really puts it to them. And even Coach Dillingham admittedly said, look, you guys whipped us tonight. Now, this was, last year, midseason, they were calling for the jobs of Brent Brennan and staff. And now all of a sudden, he's the hero of Arizona. What is going on in Tucson? And seemingly, not so good for Arizona State. But you saw a little bit of that game, and what are your thoughts? And how are you feeling moving forward for both programs?
I feel really good for the state of Arizona. First off, not to sound like a degenerate gambler, because I do not condone that, but ASU was not favored at home going into the game. But with all that said, I think it is really good when your rivals are having success. I think it breeds good competition. It's good for Arizona when U of A is good and when ASU is good. So as a Sun Devil, I don't know if that's common thought. I think some people are so into it where it's like, man, they got to be terrible and it's great. I think it's exciting when they're competitive games. I have buddies who are U of A guys, and last year they are just, we got to get a new coach, blah, 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 blah. It's probably the way some people felt about Saguaro basketball in my third year. We didn't have a lot of success, and people probably wanted me gone. It's just the way of the world. So I think he's done a great job at U of A. not enough words in my biased statement about Dillingham and his staff, Coach Mons, Marcus Arroyo, Brian Ward. They've done a phenomenal job, and tomorrow will be exciting with signing day to see what both schools are able to bring in. So I think the future is bright for both. I think U of A has shown that they can have success in football. Jed Fish kind of got that role in a recent history before he took off. In ASU with Coach Dillingham, I think the sky's the limit. And I think he's done a really good job of kind of pointing out to the fan base, good. It's good that there's high expectations now. How many years ago would we dream to have a year that ASU had this year? Just, competitive, battling, injuries took place, different things happened that were out of their control, but they kept finding ways, and going into the last week of the season, there was a world that existed where ASU was still in the Big 12 championship again, despite the injuries, despite all the adversity. So I'm fired up for both. I think it's great for Arizona, but then selfishly, I hope ASU always, wins out in the end.
I remember in the preseason of last year, we did a show down in Wildcat Stadium and with the National Football Foundation down there. And I stood in the office of one of the coaches that was on Brennan's staff, that was also on Fish's staff before. And they said it was night and day. Fish had come in and left, and it was a lot of flash. Brennan, very sincere guy. Now, this was before they kicked off season number 1. So before, the debacle midseason, calling for his head, all this stuff. I had a chance. I met Chuck Cecil. I met a lot of these guys on staff, and they all praised how sincere this guy is. And now I think it's starting to show. And likewise, I remember, and we've had Coach Kenny Dillingham on our show a few times. And in his first year, when he was 3-9, people were saying no NIL money, overrated. Coaches are in over their heads. They're all a bunch of high school guys, and they finished 3-9 and are just picking up the pieces after NC2A, slaps them on the wrist for things that happened in the previous regime. Year 2 comes. We obviously know what happened last year. Year 3, the expectation of winning. I don't even remember the last time ASU and U of A had identical records going into that last game. And that's what made it so exciting. Was I expecting a different outcome? Yeah, I was. But also the fact that QB1 was out, some key players were out. So they had some trouble generating offense, talking about ASU. U of A came in pretty hot. And so, yeah, things happen the way they happen. It'll be interesting to see what happens bowl season, but I think it's great for the state of Arizona. I think there's more than enough in terms of recruiting to go around, because you still have schools from out of state coming in and doing their damage here. So it's fun, but obviously you're seeing it impacted at your level quite a bit, because these coaches are coming through, and you're seeing, who are you seeing more between those two?
That's a really good question. Well, I will say this, and this just shows, I think, the growth or the intentionality that ASU has done with their staff. Prior to Kenny being at ASU, all my times coaching, or all my stops, North Canyon, Phoenix College, Horizon, Saguaro, you're around the athletic spaces. Never saw ASU much at all. Since Kenny has been there, very common to see Arizona State out and about in the Valley at games, on our campus. It helps that their tight ends coach, used to be our head ball coach.
Yeah.
But
never returns my calls anymore. He used to call me all the time and wish me happy birthday. Now it's just, he gets there, he's big time, and
hey, he's busy recruiting. He's always thinking of you, though. But yeah, no, I think both have done a really good job. But what really stands out to me, though, is seeing the Arizona State presence. Just because I think it was very intentional from the very beginning. Because I think Kenny knew. I think he was a part of the program as an undergrad, growing up, watching it, seeing it. So that intentionality definitely sticks out, I think, to high school coaches around here and just people who follow.
All right, guys, when we come back, we are going to hit our speed round where Coach Lucas and I go back and forth on random questions. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It is time for speed round where Coach Lucas and I will go back and forth with just some random questions. 3 questions each. We'll ping pong one after the other. I'll go, then you go, then I'll go, then you go, and you get the idea. Here we go. First one. All right, here we go. How has Coach Ramirez, this was submitted by one of our listeners, how has Coach Ramirez's Latino heritage helped shape his perspective as a coach? And how does his role in the Latino Association of Basketball Coaches enable him to highlight being Latino within the sport? You know, this is one I didn't come up with.
Yeah, thanks for not caring about our culture event. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. No, it means a lot. I mean, I could probably spend an hour talking about this topic with you or anyone. It's always been important to me for whatever reason since I was a little kid. Like, I was always interested in learning more about my heritage and where my father came from, and just learning about the culture and traditions. And then what was really neat when I started coaching, I didn't really think about being like, a Latino in basketball or like, whatever it might be. And then I caught wind of the Latino Association of Basketball Coaches, and there was a great article on ESPN probably about, 10, 11 years ago that highlighted some of the head coaches that were in Division I at the time. And then a couple assistant coaches. And then that connected me to the founder of the organization, who at the time was working at Arizona State when I was doing my undergrad. So that was kind of the beginning of us connecting. And then over the years, we just became a little closer, a little more connected. And then during the pandemic, that's when he reached out to me and asked me to get involved with the organization and just find different ways we can promote coaches and do different things. So it's been really great. It's been really great to kind of connect, your heritage, your culture, with a passion of coaching and basketball. And so it's super cool, and it's really rewarding to kind of build just genuine relationships through that, and, you go to the Final Four every year, we have our luncheon or different events. So it's always great running into coaches. And again, like you share that sense of community, through basketball, through your culture. And it's really, really cool.
There aren't many Italians in basketball. I don't know. We just don't have that vertical going for us. But
hey,
anyway.
You got some good coaches, though. You got the Rick Pitino's. I think there's some Italian background there. John Calipari. I think there might be a little Italian background. I could be wrong, but hey, there you go.
Okay, we'll claim them. All right. What's your question?
Okay, I was actually thinking about this last week when we connected briefly. What inspired you to even create the sports network that is now the Varsity Sports Show? Like what was the beginning phases? Because obviously you had a background in coaching, but kind of what led you to create or start this vision to what it is now?
So originally I missed coaching. I coached for a lot of years, and when I got out, my kids were small and I needed to spend a little more time at home. After a while, I got a little antsy that I wanted to get involved. So I had a friend that I actually coached with at Phoenix College. The guy's name was Ed Smith. Easy Ed. He's mentioned in the conversation with he has a common trait with Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders. Multi-sport athlete professionally. He played 9 years of pro baseball for the White Sox, and then 6 years of pro football, and played in the Super Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons. And then his brother, his younger brother, Ed's younger brother is Smith. What is his son? His nephew plays tight end for the Bengals. Smith. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Same name. Anyway, his brother played tight end for the New Orleans Saints for years. He played at Notre Dame. Smith. I don't know. Anyway, so it's a tight end family. He played tight end in the NFL. His brother played tight end, and now his nephew, Irv Smith. Anyway, so Ed had a radio show on AM 1060, and we got to talking, and he saw that I was doing some alumni work for my old high school. And he said, come on the show, talk a little bit about it. And it was a good segment. And then it kind of spun off into what we called the JUCO report. And every other week I would do this report, and it ended up becoming one of their most popular segments on their show. And from there, it led to doing some other broadcast work and doing some play-by-play and doing some public address announcing and ultimately starting the show. And so with the show, I needed help. And I thought, you know what, it'd be a great way to kind of tap into the talented network of students that are out there and to teach them a little bit about it. And maybe I'll learn something along the way. I still don't know half about this industry, but it's been a lot of fun, and we've continued to grow, and it kind of keeps me connected to this interesting fraternity. So there's a little more that has gone into it with that, but we don't have enough time. But it's so it's been kind of fun, and it's been people like yourself that have given us opportunities that have really allowed us to continue to grow and to stay out there. So yes. All right.
That's awesome.
Next. Yes, sir. Next question. This one is one of mine. Here you go, Coach Lucas. Levi's or Jordache?
Yes. You know what?
Come on now.
I don't really.
I know what you got hanging in your closet.
No. I really don't wear like a ton of like. Actually, it's funny. Connection to another connection of ours. I used to get ridiculed frequently by my former athletic director in the middle of the terrifyingly cold Arizona winters. And I'm only half kidding. I would just get ridiculed for wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and or something that is not properly equipped, for whatever the weather forecast calls that day. So former AD Harris would frequently bother me with, did you watch the weather? Did you read do you know it's going to be, 55 degrees today and cloudy, and, I'm just in a saguaro polo and some golf shorts. So yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to pick, I would go Levi's.
Okay, there you go. Me too. I've got a few pair hanging in the closet. So. All right, your turn.
All right. Do you prefer Pepsi or Coke? Very simple. Oh, there you go. It's like you're a paid spokesperson.
I just had that craving that you know what, I don't want water right now. I drink a lot more. This is the first one I've had in 2 weeks. So
oh wow, there you go.
Yeah,
it's an honor to share that moment with you.
Yes, very precious moment. As unprofessional as it looks on camera to do, but yeah, I try to stay away because now that I'm starting to get up there in years and all that, a lot of people that I grew up with, they haven't taken care of themselves. And while I'm not like a workout freak, I try to walk. I try to take care of my knees and not do a lot of.
I see you pacing around on game days, especially those Friday night football games. That's a good workout.
Yeah, I do a little of that.
That's why I make sure you never get good parking, because I know you need to get a good walk.
I need a good walk, and I try to drink a lot of water. I try to get some rest, but yeah, and the other one gripe that I have is on game days. Speak of game days. Those other media guys that do games at your place, they have people that work at your school that carry their equipment up the bleachers, up the stadium. I have to carry my own stuff. So I was hoping that, with the previous athletic director, he made me carry my own stuff. I was hoping the new guy would help us out and give us some staff to do that. But the same. No, nobody's helping us.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good question, though. Last question. And again, going back to pop culture, this is one of mine. Taylor Swift or Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny, see you at the Super Bowl.
I liked him in Happy Gilmore too. That's the first I've never heard his music, not because I haven't wanted to, just because I haven't had the opportunity to really listen to it. But I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, no, he's wildly entertaining. So yeah, no, excited for the Super Bowl. Excited for all the angry tweets we're gonna see too about it too. But yeah. All right. I'll give you two options then, two music then to kind of keep it on the same wavelength. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Interesting. That is interesting. Okay. So now I
have really flustered you here with this one. You are conflicted.
So I'm going to say Prince. And the reason why I'm going to say Prince is because to me, he is a multi-talented musician in addition to a singer. I love his guitar playing. And I got into this debate with some other local coaches when after Eddie Van Halen passed away, because I had put something out there saying, greatest guitarist, rock and roll guitarist of all time. And someone came back and said, no, Prince is. And I thought about that. And I thought, you know what? Prince was a really good guitarist as I started, really paying attention, because I always thought of him as, I like to watch Dave Chappelle and some of those stories, the true Hollywood stories he would do with, when he played Prince.
Vince, you are cultured, my friend. I like it.
Oh my God. But then I actually started kind of going back and watching some of his guitar playing. He's a really good guitarist, a good musician in general, played drums. So from that aspect, Prince all the way.
And I respect that answer. I'm well documented. I'm more of a Michael Jackson fan, but Prince was incredible. And I think I think it's like two things can be true at once, like in separating kind of the two and putting them in different pots. Like Prince was a great musician and way more trained and just gifted from an instrument side of things, whatever. And then just from like an entertainment perspective, Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson, a great entertainer. Prince cannot dance like Michael Jackson. Just in the same breath, Michael Jackson can't play guitar. So appreciate both of them, I guess.
Yes. Well, that was fun. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. So, friends, viewers, listeners, make sure to scan the QR code. Send us your topics. Let us know, and we're going to have fun. We're going to have some guests on this thing in the future as well. Thanks so much. Coach, did you have fun with this?
It was a blast. I could sit here and talk to you for an hour and a half, but then my dinner will get cold.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So on behalf of my co-host, Lucas Ramirez from Saguaro High School basketball, my name is Vince D'Aliesio. Thanks again for tuning in to the inaugural edition of the Overtime Podcast. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next time.